The corrupt scapegoat, Cen Hun, was a high-ranking minister under Wu's last emperor, Sun Hao. The Sanguozhi portrays him as a corrupt official who thrived on favoritism and oppressed Wu's people, earning himself widespread hatred. Historically, he's not labelled as a eunuch like he is in the Romance of the Three Kingdoms, but this may still reflect on his character. Eunuchs were often scapegoated in Chinese histories for their corruption in court. On the other hand, Tao Huang must be praised for his competence and loyalty. He was a military general and politician in eastern Wu and later the Jin dynasty, who was most known for his administration over Zhou for over 20 years. He was also responsible for one of the few major victories Wu had over Jin in the final years of the Three Kingdoms period. Unlike many Wu generals who surrendered quickly, Tao Huang's defense delayed Jin's conquest of the south, showcasing his tactical acumen. The Sanguozhi also notes his ability to manage local tribes and resources, keeping Zhou loyal to Wu until the end. Cen Hun was born at an unknown date, but held positions within the 9 ministers during the reign of Sun Hao, the 4th and last emperor of Wu. Sun Hao took the throne 1 year after the fall of Shou in 264, and Cen Hun tied himself to his tyrannical rule and extravagant lifestyle. In these times of Wu's weakened state, the people compared Cen Hun's corruption to that of Shu's old eunuch Huang Hao. This fueled fears that Cen Hun would doom Wu in a similar way that Huang Hao had doomed Shu. Tao Huang was born in Moling County, and his father, Daoji, was once the inspector of Xiao province. Tao Huang himself had held a few different positions in the Wu government, and was the administrator of Kangwu when the people of Jiaoji Commandery rebelled. Under Lu Xing's leadership, they politically aligned themselves with the state of Wei, who claimed large parts of Xiao province a year later in 264. The rebels carried on favouring Wu's enemy for years, even after the Sima clan took power in 266. Wu went on the counter-offensive however in 268, with Tao Huang, Shou and Yusi marching from Jing to Heipu Commandery. Within the capital, Cen Hun once showed a rare positive trait when he led some other officials to beg Sun Hao to spare the prefect over the palace writers, Zhang Shang, after he insulted Sun Hao. This suggests that Cen Hun had some influence at court and could occasionally act with restraint, but this deed still didn't redeem his reputation. His favoritism likely alienated both officials and soldiers, fostering resentment that later proved fatal. Tao Huang's steadfast loyalty contrasts against Cen Hun's corruption under Sun Hao's erratic reign. Each of them embodied opposing forces that shaped Wu's downfall. Tao Huang tirelessly defended Wu's southern frontier, as Cen Hun's self-serving influence fueled discontent. Wu soldiers and officials whispered of Cen Hun's role in their misfortune, while Tao Huang's men fought on with grit. At the front in Heipu, Tao Huang volunteered to attack the prefect of Jiaoji, Yangji, at the Fen River. His plan relied on a sea-bound army, but deserters who feared the Jin forces turned back, leaving the assault weakened. Tao Huang advised cancelling the attack altogether, but Shu was determined to save the province and pressed forward. The battle was lost with 2 generals killed, and Shu blamed Tao Huang because he had initially suggested the plan. Tao Huang explained, "I was not allowed to do what I wanted, and our armies refused to work with each other, that's why we lost the battle." Frustrated, and blamed by Shu, Tao Huang needed to prove his strategic value and shift the campaign's momentum. That same night, he led a small raid on the camp of Zhu Xian's prefect Dong Yuan, seizing valuable treasure. His swift and effective night raid not only humiliated Dong Yuan, but also impressed Shu. He apologized and gave Tao Huang command of the campaign, recognizing his skill and resolve. To top things off, Tao Huang used the valuable treasure to pay a powerful leader of the Fuyan barbarians, Liang Shi, to side with Wu. Dong Yuan's general, Zizhi, had a brother, Shi Xiang, serving under Wu. Tao Huang sowed discord by having Shi Xiang write a letter to his brother and showing him favour. This in turn made Dong Yuan suspicious, leading to Shi's execution. To avoid open battle with Jin troops, Tao Huang sailed by sea to surprise the Jin forces in Jiaoji. He battled at Fengxi and defeated Yangji's generals Mao Ziyong and Meng Yue. The Jin forces then faked a retreat to draw Wu troops into an ambush behind ruined walls, but Tao Huang anticipated the trap and used his soldiers' long Ji weapons to overcome the ambushers. While the Wu general, Deng Xiyu, grappled with relentless southern bandits, Tao Huang offered a cunning plan. The people of the South Bank rely on our iron and salt, so you should stop them from being sold in the markets. In this way, they'll be deprived of their farming equipment, and in 2 years' time, they'll be destroyed in one battle. Deng Xu embraced the strategy and crushed the bandits. Later that year, Tao Huang besieged Yangji and Mao Xiong's stronghold in Xiaozhi, but Xian's inspector of Xiao, Huo Yi, swore an oath with the two. If they surrendered within 100 days of the siege, their families would be executed, and if they surrendered after 100 days and no reinforcements came, then he would take the responsibility. Huo Yi died during the siege, however, so no help came, and in less than 100 days, the Jin army ran out of food and asked to surrender. Tao Huang had heard of the oath, so didn't accept their surrender, but instead provided them with supplies to complete their remaining days. Even though his subordinates complained about this, Tao Huang argued that his actions would promote Wu's virtue at home and abroad. After 100 days, Yangji and the others surrendered as planned, so for his merits, Tao Huang was officially appointed Inspector of Xiao. Tao Huang's loyal general, Xu Yun, burned for revenge against Mao Xiong because he had slain his father Zi in battle. Tao Huang was seeking mercy, so forbade the act of revenge, yet treachery surfaced. Mao Xiong was plotting to assassinate Tao Huang, so he unleashed Xu Yun, who struck down the conspirator. Meanwhile, in Zhuozhen, a Jin official named Li Zuo defied Wu's advance. After a long battle, Tao Huang's forces prevailed though, reclaiming the commandery. In 271, Wu drove out the Jin forces from Jiao and recovered all of their lost territory. The campaign was one of the last major victories of Wu during the final years of the Three Kingdoms. Sun Hao appointed Tao Huang as commissioner with extraordinary powers, chief controller of Xiao, governor of Xiao, and general of the front. During his tenure overseeing Xiao, Tao Huang pacified the Rao tribes, and some others in Wuping, Zhuodi, and Xinjiang, then turned those areas into commanderies. This included more than 30 counties when they were all put together with Zhuozhen. Tao Huang was beloved by the populace of Xiao, but on one occasion, he was reassigned as commander of Wuchang, so had to leave the province. The people of Xiao were devastated, and insisted on having Tao Huang stay. Their pleas were listened to, so he was reappointed as administrator of the region. In late 279, Tao Huang was fighting the rebel Guo Ma in Guangzhou, so he didn't participate in the defense when Jin launched its conquest of Wu. He was far from the action when the Jin dynasty conquered Wu in 280, following Sun Hao's surrender. He wrote a letter to Tao Huang's son, Tao Huang, asking his father to surrender, so upon hearing the news, Tao Huang laid down his arms and mourned for his state. He grieved for days before replying to Sun Hao with his official letter of surrender. Several former Wu officials and many soldiers blamed Cen Hun for causing the downfall of Wu, and so pushed for his execution. Sun Hao reluctantly agreed, and later, even regretted his decision, but it was too late. Cen Hun had already been killed. He symbolized Wu's internal rot, but some still question the extent of his influence, arguing that Sun Hao's erratic rule and Jin's superior resources were larger factors in the fall of Wu. Shortly after Wu's demise, Emperor Wu of Jin intended to reduce the number of troops in each province and commandery across the state, but Tao asked the emperor to exclude Xiaozhi from this policy. He reasoned that being so far from the capital, with the harsh terrain in between, it becomes difficult to put down local rebellions. He further detailed his previous encounters with the Cham kingdom of Lamap and their ally Funan. He also requested that the taxes in Jiao are to be paid with pearls, the local people's general source of income, and that the merchants were to be allowed to openly trade in the region. Emperor Wu agreed to all of this, while also allowing Tao Huang to keep his existing positions. Tao Huang governed Xiaozhi for another 10 years, before passing away in 290. It's said that the people of the province mourned his death greatly, and he was posthumously named as Marquis Lai, ranged Marquis. The specific title, Marquis Lai, suggests that Tao Huang was recognized for his fierce dedication, strategic victories, and effective governance, particularly in the challenging region of Xiaozhou and its neighbors.